All right, guys, we're back with another video. This one's going to be about the vegetables and berries and things that we have in our yard. And we'll kind of give you a little tour of what we have. And then as we go through the summer season and things begin to pop out and we begin to harvest and make adjustments, we'll keep you guys up to date on this stuff. But this channel is really just a hobby. It's just more for plant enthusiasts, so not expecting a whole lot. But anyway, what we're looking at here is garlic. And we have different types of garlic. We have some that are homegrown here in the state of Michigan that we got from the farmer's market last fall. We planted these in the ground, I think about mid-October, and they've been kind of dormant and growing, and now they're about 3 feet tall. And some of these are gonna be what is known as elephant garlic, and that's this one right here, a couple of these. And when you pick them up, they're gonna be like the size of softballs when they come out. So that's known as elephant garlic. And then of course we have your regular standard garlic. Some of them I've already kind of picked because they were getting close to that picking time. And we'll go over that later because these were picked a little bit prematurely, but they're starting to dry out. But you can still use them for cooking. And but that's what they're gonna look like, maybe a little bit larger than that. But as you can kind of tell, some of these will be ready to be picked within the next week or two. Usually once they start turning yellow like this, you've got to wait for it to get to about the third stem. And then that's when they're ready to be picked. So, but we'll do a different video on that later. So we have that. Then we come over here. We've got our blackberry, our blueberry bushes, raspberry, and these are all blackberries. And you'll note once again, I've got lavender planted in between these. And the reason why I did that, and I explained this in the last video, is we have a lot of deer. Matter of fact, these plants here, we probably will not get any berries this summer. And the reason is because over the winter, we had a really bad cold snap. Temperatures got below 10 below zero. The deer came in and they just completely gobbled everything we had up. And so this year we put lavender in because they hate that smell, to kind of keep them away. And then of course tucked behind here we put some spearmint there, and you'll see that sporadically throughout the yard because that also is supposed to keep the deer away. So just trying to do what we can to keep them away, but yet not like harm any of our four-legged friends. And we have some really big deer around here. Sometimes you can see about 10 of them pop up in our yard. Even one time this past winter, they were actually on the deck back here, just walking around. And see some more mint that we keep around. Mint's really good too. Once you harvest it and dry it out, you can add some hot water, make some like tea and stuff with it. Good stuff there. We'll come over here, and once again, like I said, I keep mint all over the place. But here we have our tomatoes. We have our zucchini coming in. This year I'm trying out these cloth buckets or bags to see how they work out. But we have like some Amish paste heirloom type of tomatoes, which is really more like aroma. We have some Better Girl tomatoes here and some Heinz tomatoes here. Picked up some these tomatoes right here are going to be those Beef Boy tomatoes. And then what happened last year, some of the tomatoes dropped into the soil and kind of got in there, and we have a ton of baby tomatoes that are popping up. So more than likely those over here are going to be cherry, because that's where the cherries were last year. And these right here are probably going to be some more aroma. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Maybe pull some of these out because it'll get too thick, and if that happens, we won't get as much zucchini that we would like to have. So there's that. Also got a random rose bush coming up over here that I'm probably going to dig out and move to another part of the yard, because who wants a thorny rose bush growing in your garden? You'll notice these over here. These are all pumpkins. We bought a bunch of pumpkins last fall from a farm down the street, and so I harvested the seeds, planted them in these buckets here. Now they're coming out. So we're going to have white pumpkins and yellow pumpkins and orange pumpkins, and hopefully this will keep going. We'll probably have to transplant those later this summer into a different area as they grow and expand. So we have that going on. Then we come over to this side and we have tons of peppers. Now this spot here is all sweet banana peppers that are growing in this particular pot, and then over here we have all jalapenos here, and you can see there's some baby jalapenos coming in behind that, so we may be thinning those out so it doesn't get too thick there. And then we come over into this part, one of my favorite parts of the area. It's kind of like my plant playhouse over here. We have a lot of our herbs that are hanging out. We've got oregano, we've got lavender, we've got basil, we have rosemary, and then we have some more basil hanging out over here as well. So like I said, one of my favorite spots here in our yard, because I keep dirt down here, always ready to plant another plant if necessary. It's just kind of a good little personal spot here. Then if that wasn't enough, we have our fruit trees. These did not do very well last year because we had a extremely late season frost that hit. But this particular tree is an apple tree, and this is a Granny Smith apple. Now, last year we only had like 6 apples that came off this tree. This year alone, there's probably about 15 apples right there in that spot. We did not get any late season freezes this year, and the apples are very plentiful on this tree, as you can see. And one of the great things is if you don't get a late season frost, you get a lot of apples, and also you don't get the fungus that comes with these apples or the deformities that come. So then that happened a lot last year. Over here we have another apple tree. This is our Honeycrisp apple, and once again it was the same story with this last year. We just didn't get that many apples because we had a late season frost, a cold snap that kicked in like in April, really cold weather, and it destroyed all the flowers, and we just didn't get hardly anything. But this year we're gonna get a lot of apples, so maybe some apple pies come in, some apple jams, things like that. We'll just see what happens. And of course, if that wasn't enough, and we showed you in the last video what these were for, to help pollinate these trees, which looks like it worked and did very well. Last but not least, we have this tree right here, and this is a pear tree. Now this tree did phenomenal last year. We had like 1,000 pears that came off this tree, and it looks like this year is going to be yet another very plentiful harvest off of this tree, and we're looking forward to actually using these pears to make jams and maybe some, I don't know if you can make a pie out of a pear tree. Maybe. Can you make a pie out of a pear tree? I don't know. Put it in the comments below. Let me know what you think about that, or some ideas that we can do with these pears. The deer love them. We fed a lot of these to the deer last year, but yeah, we've got a lot of stuff here. Anyway, that's kind of a tour of what we got going on here in our yard. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe here to the channel, and we'll keep you guys up to date all summer. We'll probably do another video. This one will come from my office. I got a lot of like indoor plants that keep going all year round in our studios that we have here, and so we'll do another video of that. Anyway, that's all I have for you. Thanks for watching. Bye everyone.